My biggest gripe is I feel like the way they release the product has been pretty terrible. Chay, we are a couple months in to the brand new WWE Topps era of trading cards. How do you feel so far about the introduction of the brand new Topps trading cards? How's everything been going so far for you? And how do you feel like as a consumer it's been?
Solid. Much improved over the last iteration of Topps products that we've gotten. Not as detailed as Panini products, clearly, right? And that's been a common complaint, for Topps Chrome, but it is like the first version of Chrome. So, they'll make improvements for, future years. But I think as a first shot at bringing Chrome back, I think it's a really good product out the gate. But also, Topps is a lot more involved now because it's Fanatics. So Fanatics allows them to be like at the forefront of everything. They're in like the Topps Rip Nights, and the product has all these like commercials, like you see it everywhere. Like they do the Fanatics Fest now. So it's like WWE is like kind of like in your face now, whereas Panini didn't really have that access to the wrestlers like that. So, I mean, it's strong. It's strong out the gate. I mean, I hope they can keep it up.
I agree with most of what you said. The Topps Rip Night, I thought that was a great promotion, having all the wrestlers. For those who don't know, WWE and Topps had a lot of wrestlers go to local card shops and open packs with customers and hang out with them, which I thought was a really great promotion, a great way to get people interested. You're right. They have more Topps ads during wrestling program for WWE. They had already been doing Fanatics Fan Fest even before the switch over, but now Topps has the cards to match with it, which, WWE didn't really do Panini too many favors once they decided they were going back to Topps. So it's been, a lot more access for Topps than it was for Panini. My biggest gripe is I feel like the way they release the product has been pretty terrible. And what I mean by that is, they released it on their website. What was it, like $170, $180 a hobby box?
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, man, like if you didn't get it on that drop, you've pretty much been paying almost, 40% more to double that. You know what I mean? Like Some of these hobby box prices, it's just pretty much made it so that, I had a guy actually reach out to me before this about the Topps Sapphire, which by the time this video drops should be out. And he was like, oh yeah, if I get it, are you interested? I'm like, yeah, hit me up. Be like, all right, cool. I'll set my bot to do that so I can make sure I get it via my bot. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so basically Topps is incentivizing people who are just reselling, which I mean, as people would call me a hypocrite because I'm a breaker. So it is what it is. But it's just getting hobby boxes. Like cases of Chrome shouldn't be going for $4,000, bro. Like the fact that cases are like $4,000 is crazy to me. Pretty much every product they have is just getting so, overpriced that it's just unfortunate because a lot of people haven't been able to get into it as much as Panini. And Panini had some high price stuff, but right now I could go out and for the price of, a case of Topps Chrome, I literally went out and bought a case of Immaculate and like 2 to 3 blaster cases of Select for the same price. So to me, like, I know the hype is high because of the Rock Autos, but I will say that I'm not a big fan about how they release the product because I think it just incentivizes resellers. And I will say this too, on a separate note. I think that the Rock Auto will be the next Legend Auto that is completely devalued in a couple years. If I don't know how much they're planning on having Rock in various like sets. I don't know if Rock, hopefully, as much as I'd love to get a Rock Auto for a rarity point of view, I hope he's not in every product. But I'm curious this year with their slate of various releases, how many of those is the Rock going to be signing in? Because I'm just worried that, in 3 years, we're going to be looking at Rock Autos like Austin Autos and Hogan Autos and Taker Autos, which after the Panini era are completely devalued. Like if you had told me when, Prism originally came out, that within like 3 years you could get an Undertaker auto for like $100, I would have said you were crazy,
Right.
And now that happens a lot. Same with Hogan, same with Austin, and all these people. I'm just worried about the Rock's auto being completely devalued because, recently, I'm sure you saw the Rock 101 Final Boss inscription auto recently sold. And that was the second 101 Rock auto pulled from Chrome that people know about. There's technically one more. I don't know if it's been hit or not. As far as I've seen, it has not been hit, or it's been hit and the guy hasn't announced it yet, which to me is the most coveted one, is the one that hasn't been found because it's the base auto. But supposedly the Final Boss auto, they didn't give an exact price, but they said it was top 3 all time, which means that it was a 6-figure card sale. I think in a couple of years, that's not going to look like a good investment at all. Would just be my opinion. I don't think, $100K on a 101 Rock auto when there's 3 101 autos of the Rock in that set, to me is already crazy. Spending, because like I said, if it's top 3 all time, that means it's a 6-figure sale. So, or close to it. I don't think that that's a good value to me personally. And I think his value in autos, hopefully they keep him scarce, but we'll see, once the next, because Sapphire's coming out, whatever comes after Sapphire, I'm curious how many sets they have the Rock sign in, because I'm thinking his value is just going to go down as far as auto value would be my guess.
So you notice, like, not only in wrestling, but across other different types of items, like action figures, video games, any type of collectible item, right? Where usually when something comes out, and back in the day, once it released, like that was it, right? So if you were able to collect a hard to find like action figure or a hard to find video game, that was typically it. Like you had it and it was valued well. But then you fast forward to 2020, 2021, this decade, everything's being re-released and everything's being recreated. Like, I think the companies are kind of catching on. Why are we allowing these people on eBay or Mercari or these collectors, make all this extra revenue off of us if we can recreate it and we can do it on a mass scale and, make X amount of dollars? That's the approach that I think a lot of companies are taking now, is that they're like, we can make money off of this still. So let's just, re-release it or recreate it, or let's make, 500 Undertaker autos or Stone Cold Steve Austin autos. And it's kind of wild to me. It's like, it really is all about the dollar, and how can we like line our pockets and put more money in our pockets? And I don't know.
I mean, that's always been what we've been about as a country, is making that money. I don't know. It just sucks when, the resellers, like a lot of the places that I buy my cases for, right, for breaks, whether it's stores, place like resellers, whatever, the prices between the reseller and the stores, some of the resellers are giving better prices than the stores.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these big stores, like, Steel City, Blowout, a lot of those types of places, they're charging like $4+ a case, like over 4 bands a case. And Breaker's Delight, which I don't, I haven't ripped any personally, but I don't get why Breaker's Delight's going for more than regular hobby. I heard someone say that maybe 101s hit more in Breaker's Delight. I don't know. I feel like the regular parallels from Hobby Chrome is going to sell better than the Breaker's Delight parallels. What do I know? The fact that those are over $5K a case, I'm just like, I don't get it.
I have seen that the geometric like parallels and stuff like are selling for, or they were selling for higher prices on like eBay.
Hey, if that's true, I'm happy for them.
But I don't think it was on a scale of like the difference in like the Delight versus the Hobby Box though. I don't think it was like that big.
I mean, each case I've seen has been $500 to $1,000 more for like a Breaker's Delight, depending on where it is. At least minimal $500 more, but usually more than that. So if they're selling better, more power to them. To me, if you ask me, would I rather have a black refractor to 10 from Chrome, or a geometric to 10 from Chrome Breaker's Delight, I'd rather just have the regular black refractor to 10 from Chrome personally.
Is
You
that
know,
because you're
I
used
think
to like Prism, like True
I think
Gold
it's
and
good.
stuff like that?
I just I just think it's going to hold value better longer would be my guess. And I'm basing
Because
that just off my opinion. I just, to me it kind of comes off, Breaker's Delight comes off as like, and other people probably don't feel this way, but to me it comes off how like, when you had Select for WWE, right? And you have the Gold Parallel and Select, and then there's like Team All, so it's like Gold Wave, and then like various other iterations of the same numbered, but it's just a different set. That's how it came off to me. And obviously if you say that they've been selling better, I'm not going to argue with you because I'm sure you've done more research than I have on that. But I just feel like long term I'd rather have the better hits from Hobby than I would from Breaker's Delight. And maybe I'll be proven wrong. That's just me personally.
I mean, Breaker's Delight is actually sought after in the sports world too. It typically holds higher value in the sports on the sports side too.
Hey man, you would know better than me. I just collect wrestling cards. I don't know nothing about that. I could talk if you want to talk football, baseball, basketball, all that. I can talk sports all day. When it comes to sports cards, I got minimal idea. Yeah, that's just me.
Yeah.
Any other Chrome hot takes while we're here? Any other Topps hot takes while we're here?
No. I mean, we have Sapphire coming out, and okay, bring it on. I'm not like overly excited about it, but
no,
whatever.
I want to know what the set after Sapphire is. I'm curious. I really
true.
I just want Undisputed, man. Undisputed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Finest is going to come out soon because I know UFC has Finest out currently, so I wouldn't be surprised to see WWE Finest relatively soon. Hopefully there's something in between because Finest and Chrome always look kind of not identical but similar-ish in design, so hopefully there's something else in between. That'd be my preference, but I've always
have you seen
Finest
the UFC
too,
cards for Finest?
No.
They're decent. They're decent.
I don't know. From all my UFC guys have told me that the releases for UFC under Topps haven't been the best. That's why you're seeing more UFC breakers within the WWE space on Whatnot, is because a lot of them haven't been having the luck moving the Topps UFC product comparatively to WWE. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, we'll see. I want it to do well. I wish they had a different distribution method for their cases and hobby boxes because, if I called a local store not too far from you either, Chay, and I hit them up and I asked them, and I was like, how much is a hobby of Chrome? And they told me $400. And I just hung up because I'm like, what's the point? That's over double what Topps was charging, bro. And they know nothing about wrestling and they're just going to sit there. It's the same spot by me that, had boxes of AEW Spectrum for $350 2 years after the fact because they just didn't know what was going on.
One of my friends was in Florida because he had worked that week in Florida, and he was in a card store, and he had me on FaceTime, and he was asking the guy about the wrestling cards on the counter, and the guy had a box of Chronicles. I'm like, how much is that Chronicles hobby? And he's like, $269. And I like looked at him. Well, I didn't look at him, but I'm looking at him through the phone. Like that's highly overpriced. And he's like, but that's like last year's 2023 version. We're in 2024. I'm like, 2023 came out in 2024, right? There is no 2024 product. Like that is the 2024 product.
Right.
Like there is no new Chronicles. Like that is Chronicles. I can go online and buy a box of that for $149 like right now, and I have it here at my house tomorrow. And he got so like tight. Like he immediately is like his whole demeanor changed. And I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm just trying to let you know, like your prices are high. And that's probably why those boxes are still sitting on your shelf and you can't get them sold, is because they're too expensive.
Well, I haven't really been to any hobby shops that are, LCS's, local card shops or anything, where anyone's actually had any knowledge about wrestling cards. personally.
Right.
I
And,
haven't
and I
been to
mean,
one.
and it's not a bad thing to, charge above whatever the market rate is. Like I understand, like they're a local shop,
To an
right? And you
extent,
want to
yeah. To
support,
an extent.
and you want to support your local shops because they got to keep lights on and stuff like that. But come on, like $120
Yeah,
difference?
that's almost a whole extra box there.
That's extreme.
Yeah, like at the price you were talking about for Chronicles 23, for an extra $30, that's 2 boxes for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one day, Che, maybe one day we can get a wrestling centric card shop, You never know. Che, would like to thank you again.
Of
Is
course.
there anything you'd like to plug while we're here?
No.
All right. Well, check out Che's YouTube, Body Slam Toys. He won't do it, so I'll shout him out. Does some great card content over there. Very highly entertaining, enjoyable watches. Definitely check that out. Make sure to follow me, Schway Nostalgia, on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. We even just started a Schway Wrestling on Reddit, and we have a Discord group. So we got all sorts of cool stuff, and our Facebook group, Schway Wrestling on Facebook. We have so much stuff for you to join.